Okay, so your VGTR or VGEC claim has been rejected. What happens now? So, good question. First of all, do not panic. So, a rejected claim can be relatively serious, but it is not necessarily the end of the road. We see this all the time when an inquiry is opened, and 99.9% of the time they end up with the claim being fully paid out. So the first thing to do is understand exactly HMRC have rejected it. They will send you a letter, they will set out their position. Read it really carefully, but don't respond immediately. What you need to do is get specialist pair of eyes on it before you do anything else, because it's really important that you word your response very carefully without giving them too much information or too little information. So let's just briefly talk about the most common reasons for rejection. If your additional information form, the AIF, has been filed after your corporation tax return, they will reject it automatically. No big deal. The clock resets though, and you have to resubmit. So your 40 working day period starts again. If your connected party costs are not correctly disclosed or documented within the AIF, that's an issue, and HMRC will want to look into that. Your BFI certificate might be invalid or it's expired. That will be rejected for that reason. These are more common issues if an inquiry is opened up. If your markup rates, your man-month rates, your intercompany transactions don't stand up to scrutiny, or they just want to have a little bit more of a dig into it, which is not uncommon. So what does an HMRC inquiry actually look like? Generally, it starts with a letter. It's formal. It'll ask specific questions. It'll be quite high level at first. You'll have a deadline to respond, and how you do this really matters. It's really critical. As I mentioned before, too little information, HMRC will ask for more information, too much, and that can just open a can of worms, essentially. So getting the balance right requires experience, and do not try to navigate this alone because there's too much at risk to try to attempt this. The financial and practical implications of an inquiry being opened. So obviously the credit's going to be delayed. It's going to be by months. It could be up to a year. You just don't know. It depends on the availability of the caseworker at HMRC, unfortunately. And if they decide to issue multiple rounds of inquiries, then it's going to go on longer. Similarly, if they decide to look at prior years' claims, then the exposure compounds, the complexity compounds. At that point, you might need specialist legal advice. Definitely management time is really key here because there's a lot of information that HMRC will ask for, and it's really important to make sure that all your ducks are in a row before you submit your claim rather than trying to chase around afterwards, battling the clock against the HMRC deadline. So ways to avoid it: get your claim reviewed before it's filed. Don't try to muddle through it when HMRC open an inquiry. Always submit your AIF before your corporation tax return. It's really important, really simple. Make sure your BFI certificates are current and that the certificate relates to the game that you're still developing now, insofar as there's been no payout features added that or anything that might make it invalidated. Make sure you document everything: intercompany transactions, man-month rates, intercompany recharges. Make sure you have the legals to support that. And that can be a little bit complicated, so I would really suggest getting a specialist games lawyer to help you with that. And make sure that you have the right person preparing your claim. They've done claims before, they understand the landscape, they understand them holistically. It's not just about the numbers, and they're the right person to help you defend an inquiry. Ultimately, no one wants to be on the end of a HMRC inquiry. It's never pleasant. But it's, as I say, it's not the end of the world, and absolutely with the right support, chances are the claim will be paid out in full. It'll take a little bit longer for sure, but as I say, I really recommend doing the preparatory work to make sure that if they do open an inquiry, you've got everything at your fingertips ready to go. If you need a hand with anything that you think you should have in place before you claim, just reach out and I'd be happy to help you. Or if you want to go a little bit more in depth, we do health checks as well if you want to take a belt and braces approach there, just to make sure that everything is absolutely correct before you submit. Drop me a DM, or there's a link in my